গৌরয় আমার যে সব স্থানে করিল ভ্রমণ রঙ্গে, সে সব স্থান হেরিব আমি প্রণয় ভকত সঙ্গে। সে সব স্থান হেরিব আমি।
Hare Krishna, my name is Subekshana Das. I'm the chairman of Mayapur Administrative Council, and I'm here standing in Mayapur Yogapith, the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement started from. I'm very, very excited to be here on behalf of Mayapur administration and management to welcome all the devotees from all over the world to this wonderful parikrama. So we are here in Yogapith during this, with all of you, during this very auspicious month of Purushottam. So this month is exalted in all the scriptures as the month of Lord Vishnu. So every 3 years we have a Purushottam month where the Lord himself makes this arrangement that our lunar and solar cycle are reset and they realign again. So that is an important event because it's a transition period. So in this way the Lord manifests his pastimes of maintenance of this entire creation, and whatever activities we perform during this particular time they consider to be very, very auspicious. Of course, not whatever activities, specifically the spiritual activities that we perform during this month, they consider to be very, very auspicious, and they are said to give 1,000-fold benefits and also have a very, very long-lasting effect. So we are very, very happy to be with all of you and together engage in this wonderful Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. Of all different spiritual activities, this parikrama is very, very exalted because it is very, very dear to our acharyas, very dear to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very dear to our Mayapur temple as well. We regularly organize parikramas so that the devotees can come and can absorb themselves in the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pastimes here in his own place of pastimes in Sridham Mayapur. So we would like to thank all of you for joining us, allowing us to serve you, and we would like to wish you lots of success and spiritual realizations during this time. Hari Bol. So let's go for the parikrama. It was a very, very ecstatic event, making our humble steps in the holy Dham with all of you and meeting our hosts for this parikrama. So let me offer my humble obeisances to all the devotees who are performing this wonderful parikrama. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So very, very happy to be with all of you here. I would like to take opportunity to introduce His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, who will be joining us every day for this wonderful parikrama. He's the commander on behalf of Nityananda Prabhu. Then he will be leading all of us through the different places of pastimes in Sri Mayapur and around Sri Mayapur. Here is with us, we also have Atul Krishna Prabhu. He's one of senior devotees of Sri Mayapur. He's a Mayapur Basi, been living here for over 30 years. Very enthusiastically engaged in parikramas and other devotional practices here in Mayapur. He's been also very enthusiastically engaged for many years in Shravan and Kirtan. He's one of the senior-most teachers in our Mayapur Institute here in Mayapur. So we are very glad to have him as such a knowledgeable and saintly Vaishnav as a guide who will be taking us and showing us different places in Sri Mayapur. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Subekshana Prabu. I am honored to be able to serve in this capacity of acting as your host on your virtual Navadvip Dham Parikrama in Purushottam month. The parikrama will be going to all of the 9 islands and will be accompanied by various eminent Dhambasis who will be sharing their realizations and enlightening us on the significance of the 9 islands of Navadvip Dham. We'll be hearing from Adivas Prabhu, Pancharatna Prabhu, Pancharatna Prabhu here, and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj will be regularly speaking and explaining the glories of the various places. Bhakti Vijay Bhagavat Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. In this way, we'll be inundated with the realizations and the mercy of such advanced devotees and experienced servants of Navadvip Dham. We're very fortunate. Today, we'll be performing the Adivas Ceremony, which will involve a Sankalpa that we will all perform together, and in this way we'll put ourselves in the appropriate state of mind to begin our Navadvip Dham Purushottam Parikrama and continue in that state of mind until that parikrama is complete. At each place, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj will explain the significance of this extremely important temple.
So, welcome to the Navadvip Parikrama, this holy Purushottam month.
So, welcome to the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama in this holy Purushottam month.
Normally, the Parikrama is performed either on the Kartik month or the Gaur Purnima time.
Normally, this parikrama is performed either in Kartik month or Gaur Purnima time.
This Purushottam month comes right before the Kartik month.
This Purushottam month comes right before the Kartik month.
And so Kartik, Vaisakh, Magh,
And it is said Kartik, Vaisakh, Magh,
all the holy months,
all the holy months,
and all the other months
And
put together,
and all the other months put together,
not even 1/16 of the spiritual credit of Purushottam month.
don't equals even 1/16th of the credit of Purushottam month.
So this is a very auspicious month to go on the Navadvip Parikrama.
So this is a very auspicious month to go on the Navadvip Parikrama.
It says that we should visit holy places during this Purushottam month.
It says that we should visit holy places during this Purushottam month.
Since worldwide pandemic has restricted a lot of travel,
Since the worldwide pandemic has restricted a lot of travel,
and therefore we're taking you on a virtual parikrama.
therefore we are taking you on a virtual parikrama.
So we start out at the Navadvip,
So we started out at Antardvip,
This is the center of the 9 islands.
which is the center of the 9 islands.
And it's like a lotus, a world in the center with 8 petals.
This is like the lotus, the world in the center with 8 petals.
So we start out at the Antardvip,
So we start out at Antardvip
and we end at Antardvip.
and we end at Antardvip.
So in Antardvip, Lord Caitanya appeared.
So Lord Chaitanya appeared here in Antardvip,
And then he came, the spiritual world, down to this material world.
which means that he came from the spiritual world down to this material world.
That's why the place where he contacted the material world, he called it Yogapith.
That's what the place where he contacted the material world, it's called Yogapith,
Place of connection.
place of connection.
So he appeared as the son of Sachi and Jagannath Mishra.
He appeared as son of Sachi and Jagannath Mishra.
চিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়। চিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়। বয়ানে বসন দিয়া বলে লুকাইনু, সচি বলে বিশ্বম্ভর আমি না দেখিনু। বয়ানে বসন দিয়া বলে লুকাইনু, সচি বলে বিশ্বম্ভর আমি না দেখিনু। সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়। মায়ের অঞ্চল ধরি চঞ্চল চরণে, নাচিয়া নাচিয়া যায় খঞ্জন গমনে। মায়ের অঞ্চল ধরি চঞ্চল চরণে, নাচিয়া নাচিয়া যায় খঞ্জন গমনে। সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়। বাসুদেব ঘোষ কয়ে অপরূপ শোভা, শিশুরূপ দেখি হয় জগমন লোভা। বাসুদেব ঘোষ কয়ে অপরূপ শোভা, শিশুরূপ দেখি হয় জগমন লোভা। সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়। সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়, হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়।
His Holiness Gauranga Prem Swami Maharaj, who is the director of the Namhata project in Mayapur, and himself a very experienced leader of Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, Maharaj personally identified various holy places of Mahaprabhu's Leela, both in Navadvip Dham and in Gaur Mandal. And Maharaj will now speak to us on the significance of the Adivas ceremony.
শিল জীব গোস্বামী বাকলা চন্দ্রদ্বীপ থেকে নবদ্বীপ ধামে আসেন। এবং সেই সময় মহাপ্রভুর নির্দেশ অনুসারে নিত্যানন্দ প্রভু শ্রীক্ষেত্র থেকে বঙ্গদেশে ব্যাপকভাবে আচণ্ডালে তিনি কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি প্রদান করছিলেন। ভ্রমণ করতে করতে যখন এই নদিয়া নবদ্বীপে আসেন, তখন জীব গোস্বামী এসে মহাপ্রভুর সাথে নিত্যানন্দ প্রভুর সাথে মিলিত হলেন। আর নিত্যানন্দ প্রভু জীব গোস্বামীকে নিয়ে নবদ্বীপ ধাম পরিক্রমা করালেন। সেই নবদ্বীপ ধাম পরিক্রমার পূর্বদিন মহাপ্রভু যখন এই যে মায়াপুরে যে গঙ্গার ঘাটে যত ঘাট আছে, বৃদ্ধ শিব ঘাট, মহাপ্রভুর ঘাট, তারপরে বারকোনা ঘাট, নাগরিয়া ঘাট, সে ঘাটে গিয়ে মহাপ্রভু যে বিবিধ লীলা করেছেন তা বললেন। তারপর তিনি বললেন যে মহাপ্রভু যখন লীলা সম্বরণ করবেন, তারপরে কিছুদিন পরে কি হবে, এই গঙ্গা মায়াপুরকে আচ্ছাদিত করবে। 400 বছর জলেতে রেখে গঙ্গা আবার এখান থেকে ছেড়ে চলে যাবেন। তখন ভক্তরা এসে কি করবেন, এই মহাপ্রভুর এই যে জন্মস্থান তা তারা পুনরায় উদ্ধার করবে। আর এখানে একটা অদ্ভুত মন্দির হইবে, অদ্ভুত মন্দির এক হইবে প্রকাশ, গৌরাঙ্গের নিত্য সেবা হইবে বিকাশ। তো এইভাবে বললেন। তো দেখা যাচ্ছে তার পরবর্তীকালে কি হয়েছে, গঙ্গা গ্রাস করেছিল মায়াপুর। আজ থেকে প্রায় 250 বছর পূর্বে ছিল ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুর মহাশয়, তিনি যখন আবির্ভূত হইলেন এবং তিনি যখন সরকারি ম্যাজিস্ট্রেট ছিলেন, গুদ্রুমে সানন্দ সুখদকুঞ্জে থাকতেন। তো সেখান থেকে তিনি এক আলোকবর্তিকা দেখতে পেলেন, আকাশ থেকে একটা আলোকবর্তিকা এখানে নেমে এসেছিল। ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুর তার আত্মজীবনীতে লিখেছেন যে বর্তমানে নবদ্বীপ শহরের লোকেরা তাকেও মহাপ্রভুর কথা ভাবে না, চিন্তা করে না, মহাপ্রভুর লীলাস্থলী কোথায় কি তারা কিছু জানে না। তাই তারা কি করে উদরপত্তি হবে সেই চিন্তায় তারা ব্যস্ত। তখন মহাপ্রভু ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুর এরকম পরপর কয়েকদিন এই আলোকবর্তিকা দেখে তিনি একদিন নদী পার হয়ে পায়ে হেঁটে সেইখানে এলেন। এসে দেখলেন সেখানে কয়েকটা তাল গাছ আছে। স্থানীয় লোকের কাছে জিজ্ঞাসা করে জানলেন এই জায়গাটা কি। তারা বললেন এখানে আমরা যা কিছু চাষ করি তা কোনো কিছু হয় না, কেবল তুলসী গাছ হয়। তখন তিনি এই প্রাচীন গ্রন্থাবলী অধ্যয়ন করলেন এবং তার দৃঢ় বিশ্বাস হলো এই হচ্ছে মহাপ্রভুর জন্মস্থান। এবং স্থানীয় লোকেরা বললেন আমরা প্রাচীনদের মুখে শুনেছি হচ্ছে জগন্নাথ মিশ্রের ভবন এবং মহাপ্রভুর আবির্ভাব স্থল। তখন তিনি দৃঢ় বিশ্বাস হলো এই হচ্ছে গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভুর জন্মস্থান। সেই সময়ে নবদ্বীপ ধামে শহরে এই যে জগন্নাথ দাস বাবাজি মহারাজ বাস করতেন, যাকে পুরাতন ভজন কুটির বলা হয়। তো সেখানে তিনি গেলেন, জগন্নাথ দাস বাবাজির সাথে সাক্ষাৎ করে সমস্ত কথা তাকে বললেন। তো সমস্ত কিছু শুনে জগন্নাথ দাস বাবাজি মহারাজ বললেন যে তুমি আমাকে সেখানে নিয়ে চলো, আমি সেই স্থানটা দেখব। তো সেই সময় জগন্নাথ দাস বাবাজি মহারাজ খুবই বৃদ্ধ ছিলেন, পায়ে হেঁটে চলতে পারতেন না। তাই সে কোথায় যেতে হলে তাকে ঝুড়িতে বসিয়ে বাঁকে করে তাকে আনতে হতো। আর কোনো কিছু দেখতে হলে তার এই যে চোখের ভুঁড়িটা একেবারে চোখের উপরে ঝুলে পড়তো, তিনি উঠে যেয়ে দেখতেন। তো সেইভাবেই তাকে যখন এই মহাপ্রভুর জন্মস্থান জগন্নাথ মিশ্রের ভবনে আনা হয়, তখন ঝুড়ির থেকে তিনি চক্ষুটা ভুঁড়িটাকে উঠে দেখলেন আর দেখে বলেন এই হচ্ছে আমার প্রভুর জন্মস্থান। তিনি উদ্দণ্ড নৃত্য করতে লাগলেন। এইভাবে মহাপ্রভুর জন্মস্থান সার্বভৌম বৈষ্ণব সার্বভৌম সিদ্ধ ছিল জগন্নাথ দাস বাবাজি মহারাজের দ্বারা নির্ধারিত হলো। এবং তখন তিনি নির্দেশ দিলেন এই স্থানের প্রচার কার্য শুরু করুন। তখন ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুর সমস্ত সজ্জন ব্যক্তি মণ্ডলগণকে নিয়ে সংগঠিত করে তিনি নবদ্বীপ ধাম প্রচার কার্য শুরু করলেন। নবদ্বীপ ধাম মাহাত্ম্য গ্রন্থ রচনা করলেন এবং সেখানে একটা বৃহৎ আয়তন মন্দিরে নির্মাণ করলেন। এবং সেখানে 1906 সালে তিনি পঞ্চতত্ত্ব সপার্ষদ গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভু, মধ্য প্রকোষ্ঠে গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভু, লক্ষ্মীপ্রিয়া বিষ্ণুপ্রিয়া ঠাকুরানী, অপর প্রকোষ্ঠে গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভু এবং মদন মোহন বিগ্রহ স্থাপনা করলেন। 1406 সালের ফাল্গুনী পূর্ণিমাতে বিশাল গৌর পূর্ণিমা উৎসব অনুষ্ঠান হলো। সকলেরই সেই যে খেতরি উৎসব নরোত্তম দাস ঠাকুর মহাশয় যা করেছিলেন শ্রীনিবাস আচার্য ঠাকুরের পৌরোহিত্যে, সেই উৎসবের কথা সবাই স্মরণ হইল। আর যখন এই যোগপীঠ মন্দির নির্মাণ কার্য খনন কার্য চলছিল, তখন মাটির নিচে জগন্নাথ মিশ্রের সেবিত অযক্ষজ বিষ্ণুমূর্তি পাওয়া গেল। তো সেই বিষ্ণুমূর্তি এখন এই যোগপীঠে মধ্য প্রকোষ্ঠে আছে। যাত্রীরা আসে, তারা যদি পূজারীদের কাছে অনুরোধ করে দেখতে চায় তখন তাকে দেখানো হয়। তো যাই হোক, এইভাবে এই নবদ্বীপ ধাম যোগপীঠ আবিষ্কৃত হইল এবং সারা দেশে দেশে এই মহাপ্রভুর বাণী প্রচার হলো। তার পরবর্তীকালে ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী ঠাকুর, যার পূর্ব আশ্রমের নাম ছিল বিমলা প্রসাদ, যিনি ছিলেন ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুরের পুত্র, তিনি এই নবদ্বীপ ধাম প্রচার কার্য শুরু করলেন এবং গৌরীয় মঠ স্থাপনা করে তিনি সারা ভারতবর্ষ এবং তার বাইরে 64টি গৌরীয় মঠ স্থাপন করলেন এবং অনেক ব্রহ্মচারী সন্ন্যাসী বাহিনী গঠন করে দেশে দেশে প্রদেশে প্রদেশে গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভুর বাণী প্রচার করে চলেছেন। তো এইভাবে সারা পৃথিবীব্যাপী এখন এই শ্রীমন মহাপ্রভুর প্রচার বাণী হচ্ছে। তারই সুযোগ্য শিষ্য ভক্তিবেদান্ত স্বামী প্রভুপাদ, যিনি কি করেছেন, সারা পৃথিবীব্যাপী এই আন্তর্জাতিক কৃষ্ণ ভাবনামৃত সংঘ গঠন করে সারা পৃথিবীর মানুষের কাছে গৌরাঙ্গ মহাপ্রভুর প্রচার বাণী তুলে ধরেছেন। এখন সারা বছরই সারা পৃথিবী থেকে ভক্তরা সিধা মায়াপুরে আসেন এবং এই নবদ্বীপ ধামের বিভিন্ন স্থান দর্শন করে তারা তাদের দেশে ফিরে যান। এটা শ্রীমন মহাপ্রভু ভবিষ্যৎবাণী ছিল যে পৃথিবীতে আছে যত নগরাদি গ্রাম সর্বত্র প্রচার হইবে মোর নাম। মহাপ্রভু সেই ভবিষ্যৎবাণী আজ এই আন্তর্জাতিক কৃষ্ণ ভাবনামৃত সংঘের মাধ্যমে বাস্তব রূপ লাভ করতে পেরেছে। হরে কৃষ্ণ, জয় শ্রী নবদ্বীপ ধাম কি জয়।
And Pancharatna Prabhu is a very, very senior resident of ISKCON Mayapur. He's been here since the time of Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur, and he received instructions from Srila Prabhupada about serving and developing Mayapur. Very enthusiastic participant in the Navadvip Parikrama, Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. Every year Prabhu is accompanying the Parikrama parties and participating himself, going from place to place, sharing realizations, and also entertaining the Parikrama participants, all the Vaishnavas. He's immersing them in pools of ananda with his dramatic performances. He merges the Parikrama participants in pools of ananda with his exhilarating performances of Gaur Leela and Navadvip Dham Leela. And we're going to hear from Pancharatna Prabhu today. Pancharatna Prabhu, could you share with us, what does Navadvip Dham Parikrama, what does that mean for you?
Well, every year when I go, I look forward to three things. First of all is the opportunity to connect with the pastimes, the personality of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, by visiting all those places that he would frequent, and to enter in and try to, in one sense, transport yourself into that place and that time and envision it and experience it in your mind. Physically, it's very different, I'm sure, than what it looked like 500 something years ago. But we understand that on the transcendental plane, the Lord is continuing his Leela in these places. And that if we have the vision, if we have the capacity to break through the coverings of our material senses, we can actually experience this. Now, I can't say that I have yet to get more than the tiniest fragment of that experience. But I've had just enough, a little taste to know that it is there, and that if I keep going and I keep thinking about it, because it's not just the one time a year when we physically go to these places. By physically going and performing parikrama, we can remember this parikrama throughout the year. So that is number one. The second wonderful opportunity, I feel, is just to get away. To get away from the routines and just walk. Just go out and walk and chant. And just be absorbed. And finally, there's the wonderful association. To see to see the devotees, to experience their pleasure, and to appreciate their austerities. I mean, I'm always amazed to see some of the devotees walking barefoot for 6-7 days. When we started this parikrama many, many years ago, most of the path was mud, dirt, village paths. Now, by the grace of the advancement of civilization, we now have concrete, or worse. Concrete is tolerable, but it's these tar macadam roads that fall apart, and then there's all these little tiny pieces of stone. We're not talking about little clods of dirt, but stone, small little ones, very sharp. And we see these devotees walking just barefoot for days. And some of them older than me, and I think this is quite remarkable. So to get absorbed in the pastimes, to get away and to absorb ourselves in just chanting and walking, and then again the association of the wonderful sadhus. So that is the glories and the reasons why I look forward every year to participating in the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama.
Thank you. Prabhu, you mentioned that you're impressed when you see the sadhu sangha, and you see some devotees going barefoot, and that impresses you, their consciousness and their commitment. So what effect does your consciousness have on the result that you get from parikrama?
Well, this is like everything. What effect does your consciousness have on the result you get from anything you do? Anything you do is going to be affected by the consciousness you bring to it. And we know that, in fact, in all forms of devotional service, Sri Krishna tells us, or we describe Sri Krishna as Bhava Grahi Janardhan, that he's particularly looking for the bhav, looking for the consciousness, looking for the feeling that we put into it. And so we can perform parikrama, and the grace of the Dham is so wonderful, Dharya Dham, this munificent place, that it will have some effect even if we have no real absorption in it. But the more we are absorbed, the more that we try to put aside anything else, especially we have to put aside any kind of sense of judging the Vaishnavas. And that means all the Dhamvasis included, because there may be some tendency on parikrama to look at the Dhamvasis who are going about their normal business and perhaps not really impressing us that much, to feel some judgmental attitude. And that will be especially an obstacle. Instead, we have to enter into that mood of appreciating everyone who is, well, of course, everyone in existence. They're all parts of Krishna. But particularly on parikrama, these are those souls that have been brought here to this Dham for some purpose, and we need to respect them, to honor them, and to have that mood of humble, submissive surrender to receiving the mercy of the parikrama. And then we will get that.
Is that because Mahaprabhu's mood is like this also? He doesn't judge, he's really...
Yes, that because Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, Gauranga Nitai, that was their mood in doing their wandering. Enhio Shoda Maya, Nasi Baralagi. To distribute the mercy, to distribute the holy names, and to accept everyone, even the Jagais and Madais. So that's one of the things to remember. This is the place of the appearance of Mahaprabhu, the greatest, the most magnificent avatar of Sri Krishna, most magnanimous, and the proof, Tara Shakshi, Jagai Madai. They also appeared here. They also appeared here. And they came here, and their deliverance is the proof of Mahaprabhu's extraordinary mercy.
So you feel that one's consciousness is very important in the way one approaches
the more we can bring ourselves and enter in, just put aside. I mean, what does it mean, consciousness? It means to take our attention, to bring our attention and our intention, to bring our attention into this experience. When I walk on the parikrama, and of course now we're going to be doing a virtual walking, but the walking, I try to simply come into that present moment where I am and be fully attentive to the experience of the kirtan, the experience of the nature that I'm surrounded by, and pray for a glimpse of the divine Leela.
Thank you. Prabhu, we're here in Navadvip Dham performing parikram. What effect does that have on our spreading Krishna consciousness all over the planet?
According to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said that simply by performing this Navadvip Dham Parikrama, we can deliver the world. Now, that's a very esoteric concept. It's not a formula that I can explain in terms of some sort of logic. But I've tried to understand this. How does that work? How is it that simply by doing this parikrama, we can affect the planet? And there are many thoughts that come, although these are my own thoughts, I should say. I can't give you scriptural reference. But my thoughts are that there's first of all the pleasure of the Lord. By doing this parikrama, we please Krishna. And because we have a prayer in the parikrama to take the energy, to multiply this energy and let it spread. We have that saying by Nityananda Prabhu about this place, that from this place, Gauranga Nitya Seva Hoibe Prakash, or Hoibe Vikash. Right? That the Nitya Seva, the eternal service of Gauranga, will be broadcast. And just like we know how through electronic means the various messages get broadcast all over the world, so if we can do that by some material means, what to speak of the spiritual energy, which can get broadcast everywhere. And the vehicle, the transmission of that energy are the devotees. And the devotees who come here and participate in parikrama, they spread out all over the world. And they carry the energy of Sri Mayapur Dham, Sri Navadvip Dham, wherever they go. And so in that way, I believe that this parikrama, because Prabhupada especially called us here from all of our preaching fields all over the world, he described that we need to recharge our batteries, so to speak. We have to, and that we don't sit here and stay here. Of course, some of us were asked to sit here and stay here. I came here on parikrama. I came here on pilgrimage in 1976. And I was thinking I was just here to recharge and experience and go back to New York City. But circumstances, I got involved in the management here and I was asked to stay. And so, okay, that became my service. But for most of us, this is the place we come to recharge, to absorb, and then to take that energy and to spread it wherever we are.
I remember my early days when I was a book distributor, and we would come to Navadvip Dham Parikrama to be able to serve the great Maharati book distributors, to be able to serve them prasadam, to be able to receive prasadam from them, and prasadam time and associate with them. And as you said, then we would, in those days was Harinamananda and Navadvip Mandal
Oh, yes,
associate
yes,
with
yes.
them and go and get empowered and enthused. So we're in our virtual Parikrama this year, we're giving the opportunity. We'll be sending to registered people. We'll be sending some prasad. We can edit that out if we're not sending. But you'll have an opportunity to make offerings at the various tirthasthans and the Jai Shabastan Karila Brahmana Range, where Mahaprabhu performed all of his transcendental pastimes, and we'll be hearing from the advanced Vaishnavas. You'll also have an opportunity to make offerings of lamps and bhoga offerings, and we'll be prepared for that, and we'll keep you updated when those opportunities arrive.
Maybe you would also like to mention, you keep the mic, you can explain that because Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that each step is like Ashvamedha sacrifice, and in Vedic, our culture, Vedic culture, then they have the Shrotra Yagya, which is not only for your own benefit, but also for benefit of the humanity. So each step is like one Ashvamedha Yagya. So this is also that automatically that spiritual potency goes to the people in general as well.
That is a wonderful explanation. Shrotra. Shrotra.
Yeah, means it's
For others.
For others,
That you're
yes,
doing for
you
others.
and for others.
Yeah.
Like Yudhishthir, this Ashvamedha means it's not only so this whole world
Yes,
is a very
it's
pious
being done for
powerful-
everyone. Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
planet.
So that's a wonderful point, that it is a jagya, and not just a. This is what do you say? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says each step is equivalent to an Ashvamedha jagya. I mean, who could ever even conceive of an Ashvamedha jagya? But just by stepping in the Dham, and I think that's part of what we're doing now also, right? Is when we come here to begin this parikrama, we make some sankalpas, we make some prayers, and one of those prayers should be that the benefit of our performance of this parikrama should benefit the whole world, not only ourselves, but benefit the world, our families, our loved ones, and the entire human society, and the animals, and the moving and non-moving living entities, and the demons and the devas and everyone. Let them all be purified by our performance of this
The whole planet
pilgrimage.
The whole planet is becoming punya bhumi as a result of the sacrifices that the parikrama basis are performing in Navadvip.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Well, so it's a very simple thing to do, to walk. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take a lot of expenditure like an Ashvamedha yagya, but it is powerful, most powerful, supremely powerful. And we hear that during this month of Purushottam Mash, it is even more powerful. Hare Krishna.
Pancharatna Prabhu, you've been residing in Mayapur for close to 50 years.
45, yeah.
That's close to 50. What effect has residence in Sri Mayapur had on your spiritual life?
Well, I should say that the number one effect has been that I have had the opportunity to engage in sadhana bhakti with a facility that is almost unparalleled. I mean, for a grihastha particularly, to be able to live in a community of devotees, to be able to attend the temple programs simply by walking. Don't have to get into a car or any other vehicle. Simply walk or bicycle, and you can attend all, and not just any temple program, but Sri Radha Madhava, Ashtashaki, Panchatattva, Srila Prabhupada Samadhi. So the opportunities to perform, for me at least, the opportunity to perform sadhana bhakti in the association of devotees in Mayapur is extraordinarily facilitated. Unlike I mean, I've lived in other places. I had to leave here for various reasons, and I went to live in another community in Florida, in the Alachua community, which is a really nice community of devotees, but we're spread out and we don't have that kind of facility. So that's, first of all, for a neophyte like myself, the most important thing. Then I have to say that despite my coverings of ignorance and so on, there has been some effect. I have to say that there's been some little seeping in by the mercy of the Vaishnavas to understand that this is Gauranga Mahaprabhu's eternal Dham. And to feel that mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, from time to time it comes through. Like that bell, which from time to time smashes through our consciousness. So I get that opportunity. And I think the other thing is that to serve the devotees from year to year, we have so many, I've been able to develop so many wonderful friendships and relationships with devotees because they come here. And we get to serve Vaishnavas. Many, this year is a little different, but we have things like the ILS, and where hundreds of leaders come together. We have the Parikramas with 1,200 devotees. We have the Gaur Purnima festivals. We have so many opportunities. And the other, last I would say, is to see Srila Prabhupada's movement expanding, to see what's happening here. This is like evidence right in front of our eyes. The Temple of the Vedic Planetarium coming up is like, this is extraordinary. We're seeing this every day. We get to see this expression, this proof, positive, that this movement has now becoming established and is spreading and will spread. So these are some of the advantages I've...
Pancharatna Prabhu, our understanding of Navadvip Dham has deepened tremendously as a result of your association with us on the first day of our Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. We thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, what are we now? Antardvip ki jai. And what does it represent? Atma Nivedanam. And who is the devotee in charge of Atma Nivedana?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali. So we are very happy to be in this island. And Bali Maharaj is celebrated in Srimad Bhagavatam for the special quality that he has. Bali Maharaj's devotion controlled Lord Krishna, that Krishna became so obliged to him that he gave him a kingdom which is superior to Indra. It was not because of anything else, because of a devotion. What was his devotion? Bali Maharaj sacrificed his wife, family, sacrificed his friends, sacrificed his position, he sacrificed his kingdom, his opulence. He took over the three planets, the three worlds from Indra, and he was sitting on Indra's throne and controlling everything. When Krishna came to him in the form of Bali, Brahman, the dwarf incarnation, and demanded for the charity, his spiritual master told him that this boy, this Brahmana boy standing here, is not just ordinary person asking for 3 space of land, which is nothing compared to his feet. So he is the supreme personality of Godhead. But Bali Maharaj said, if the Supreme Lord Vishnu has come to my house as a beggar, I will give him everything. The spiritual master cursed him. You're going to lose everything. I promise you are going to lose everything. Bali Maharaj said, yes. If I have to lose everything for God, then that is wonderful. So Bali Maharaj Of course, he took his time to deliberate on the issue. When a very serious issue comes as a manager, when a serious issue comes, we shouldn't just immediately give answer. We have to take some time to look at it, the pros and the cons, to look at exactly the consequences. So Bali Maharaj, he did. He looked at the consequences very carefully. And after coming to a conclusion, after a deliberate deliberation, he decided, Lord Vishnu has come to me, I must give him. Lord Vishnu gave him, he said, take him whatever you want to take. So Brahman Dev, he covered the whole universe, expanded his own body. And with the 2 steps, what's the remaining step? The Lord said, where's the remaining step? You are a cheater, you promised me 3, now you gave me 2, what's the 3rd one? Bali Maharaj, because Krishna promised, I will give intelligence to my devotees on how they can come to me. Perfect example is Bali Maharaj. Krishna gave intelligence. So Bali Maharaj said, what you have taken is your property. The only thing which is for me that you have not taken, which I should give to you, is myself. Atma Nivedana. Atma Nivedana. He surrendered, he gave himself to the Lord. He said, put the lotus feet on my head and take everything. Bali became glorious. So he is a perfect example of Atma Nivedana. Let us learn from him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is the auspicious month of Purushottama. It is also called the Adhik Mas or the extra month. In general ritualistic Vedic culture, this month is considered abominable and is condemned and is also called the Malamas, the dirty month. Because ritualistic religious ceremonies cannot be performed during this month. There are no suitable times for performing or conducting auspicious ceremonies. So from the point of view of Karma Kanda, there is nothing that you can do in this month. However, this very reason makes it very, very attractive for devotees, because they know that there will be no disturbance of karma kanda in this month and they can heartily perform devotional activities without any problems. This month has been blessed exceptionally by Krishna himself. I'm sure you've all heard the pastime of the origin of the Purushottam month, but suffice it to say here that Lord Krishna blessed this month that it would have his name, his opulence, his glory, his power, his good qualities, his fame, and even his power to give benedictions to everybody. So this month, Purushottam month, is considered non-different from Krishna. All the other months are called Sakama months. Sakama meaning that they are suitable for the performance of fruitive activities according to the ritualistic Vedic culture. However, this month of Purushottama is called Nishkama because it has nothing to do with ritualistic activities, fruitive activities, with karma kanda, etc. So being free from Sakama karma and having only Nishkama karma, it is perfectly appropriate to simply do devotional service. Enormous benefit is attained by those who perform even normal devotional service in this month. What then to speak of those who perform extra services, especially more hearing, more chanting, more remembering, more reading, more worship, a little more austerity, some extra services to the deities, etc. And also included in this is parikrama. Although parikramas can be performed anytime, there are certain times that are very suitable for performing parikramas. And the same holds for this month. So this month, any time is fine for performing parikramas, and one gets exceptional benefit by doing that. Even though all of us who are participating in this virtual parikrama are not physically going to these places, but we are going there in our hearts, in our consciousness, in spirit. And because on the spiritual platform, in Krishna consciousness, everything is absolute, so there is no difference between a virtual parikrama and a physical parikrama. So as you experience the different places of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Gaur Mandala, Navadvip Mandala, so please remember that you're not only doing a virtual parikrama, you're actually there. And you're there in the holy month of Purushottam, where you can get the benefit from this enormously more than you can at normal times.
So I like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you who are participating in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. So devotees from different parts of the world are participating in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama during this wonderful month of Purushottam. So Navadvip means, Nava means 9, Dipa means islands. So Navadvip represents 9 islands. And each of the islands represents one of the processes of 9 devotional services, which have been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. In Kali Yuga, Navadvip Dham is most merciful. That's why our Acharyas have recommended to participate in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. Bhaktivinoda Thakur predicted that by performing Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, the whole world will be liberated. Bhaktivinoda Thakur personally did Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada also did Navadvip Mandal Parikrama with his disciples and followers. Then His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON, also did Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. He also encouraged his disciples also to do Navadvip Mandal Parikrama and participate in Gaur Purnima festival. Because Mahaprabhu is the Lord of Kali Yuga, and taking shelter of Navadvip Dham means taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this 9 island, that Navadvip Dham, which consists of these 9 islands, are very, very important. Because these 9 islands represent 9 processes of devotional service. And it begins with Antardip, then we can go to Simantadip, from Simantadip we can go to Godrumdip, then Madhyadip, then Kolodip, Ritudip, then Jannodip, then Madadrumadip and Rudradip. These are the 9 islands. At least we should remember these 9 names of Navadvip Dham. And if we remember these 9 islands every day, and we can do parikrama with our mind and consciousness, then there is no need to come physically also to do Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. We can do Navadvip Mandal Parikrama every day. We can do Navadvip Mandal Parikrama every moment. By staying at any place in different parts of the world. We don't have to physically come here. Residing in Holy Dham does not mean physical stay. It's our consciousness. So if we can remember this 9 islands, if we can remember the pastimes of these 9 islands, then by that also we can participate in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. But if you can come and physically do the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama along with the wonderful devotees, that is also very, very glorious.
Hare Krishna, we're going to perform the Sankalpa for our Navadvip Dham Purushottam Parikrama. With this is our Purohit, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabu. He'll be chanting the mantras and we can listen, and you can also chant those mantras during the Sankalpa. And also when Prabhu mentions the name, at that time you can say your own spiritual name, and in that way make your Sankalpa for performance of Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Hare Krishna. Whilst the Brahmins are performing the purification process, you can also do pranam mudra, and you can meditate on being present here in Navadvip Dham and beginning your Navadvip Dham Parikrama.
Harihi Om Sahana Vavato
सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ॐ पुनन्तो मा देवजनाः पुनन्तु मनसा धियाः पुनन्तु विश्वा भूतानि जातवेदः पुनीहि माम् ॐ अस्य कर्मणः पुण्याहं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो ॐ पुण्याहम् ॐ पुण्याहम् ॐ पुण्याहम् ॐ उद्गाते वाशकुने सामगायसि ब्रह्मपुत्र एव सवानेषु समसषि वृषेव वाजेसि शोमतिरपेत्या सर्वतो नश्यकुने भद्रमावद विश्वतो नश्यकुने पुण्यमावद ॐ अस्य कर्मणः स्वस्ति भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो आयुष्मते स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रावाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ अस्य कर्मणो रिद्धिं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो ॐ रिध्यताम् ॐ रिध्यताम् ॐ रिध्यताम् ॐ रिद्यामस्तोमं शनुयाम वाचमानो मन्त्रं सरथेहोपायातम् यशो न भक्वं मधुकोष्वन्तरा भूतांशो अश्विनः काममप्राह ॐ स्वस्ति नो गोविन्दः स्वस्ति नो अच्युतानन्तौ स्वस्ति नो वासुदेवो विष्णुर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो नारायणो नरो वै स्वस्ति नः पद्मनाभः पुरुषोत्तमो दधातु स्वस्ति नो विश्वक्सेनो विश्वेश्वरः स्वस्ति नो ऋषिकेशो हरिर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो वैनातेयो हरिः स्वस्ति नो अञ्जनासुतो हनुर्भागवतो दधातु स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमङ्गलैकेशो महान् श्रीकृष्ण सच्चिदानन्दघन सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ गोविन्द 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 ॐ तत्सत् अद्य ब्राह्मणो द्वितीयपरार्धे श्रीश्वेतवराहकल्पे वैवस्वताख्यमन्वन्तरे अष्टविंशतिकलियुगसप्रथमसन्ध्यायां ब्राह्मणविंशतौ वर्तमानायां चतुर्त्रिंशोत्तरपञ्चशतगौराब्दे दक्षिणायने शरदऋतौ पद्मनाभमासे कृष्णपक्ष पुरुषोत्तममासे कृष्णपक्षे कन्याराशिस्थिते भास्करे तृतीयातिथौ सोमवारान्वितायां भरणी नक्षत्र संयुतायां भूमण्डले जम्बूद्वीपे भरतवर्षे भारतखण्डे मेदिनीभूतस्य सुमेरो दक्षिणे लवनार्णवस्योत्तरे कोणे गङ्गायाः पूर्वभागे श्रीमायापुरधाम्नि श्रीविग्रह ब्राह्मण वैष्णव सन्निधौ एवं गुणविशेषविशिष्टायां अस्मिन् शुभ दिवसे सर्व विश्व वैष्णव जना श्री कृष्ण चरणे प्रीत्यर्थं पुरुषोत्तम मासे. Please recite, chant your own name together with the name of your Guru Maharaj. Purushottama Mase Navadvipa Mandal Parikramartam Sankalpam Vayam Karishyamahe. Om Tadvishno Paramam Padagam Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Tadvipraso Vipanyavo Jagrivagam Sassamindhate Vishnoryat Paramam Padam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়, সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে বিশ্বম্ভর রায়। হাসি হাসি ফিরি ফিরি মায়েরে লুকায়।
Om Chetodarapanamārjanam Bhavamahādāvāgninirvāpanam Shreyakairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhujivanam Anandambudhivaradhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvapnasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarvitani amitasmaranena kalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivamitrisamiha janinanuragaha trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniyas sada harihi na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadishakamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktirahetuke tvayi Ai Nandatanuja Kingaram Paritam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budhau Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashrudharaya Vadanam Gadagadarudhaya Gira Pulakairanichitam Vapuh Kada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Shunyaitam Jagadasaravam Govinda Virahename Aslishya Padratam Pinashtuma Madarjanam Maramahatam Karotva Yatha Tatha Va Vidadhatu Lampato Mataprananathastu Sa Evana Paraha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
বয়ানে বসন দিয়া বলে লুকাইনু, সচি বলে বিশ্বম্ভর আমি না দেখিনু। বয়ানে বসন দিয়া বলে লুকাইনু, সচি বলে বিশ্বম্ভর আমি না দেখিনু। সচিরয়াঙ্গিনায় নাচে
व्रजे प्रसिद्धं नवनीत चौरं, व्रजे प्रसिद्धं नवनीत चौरं, गोपांगनानां चतुकुलचौरं, गोपांगनानां चतुकुलचौरं, अनेक जन्मार्जित पाप चौरम, अनेक जन्मार्जित पाप चौरम, चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि, चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि। श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरं, श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरं, नवाम्बुद श्यामलकान्ति चौरं, नवाम्बुद श्यामलकान्ति चौरं, पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचौरं, पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचौरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनी कृत्य पदाश्रितं यः अकिञ्चनी कृत्य पदाश्रितं यः करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं केनाप्यहो भीषणचौरैर्दृक् केनाप्यहो भीषणचौरैर्दृक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि